Audio Jungle.
When the Alliance of Humanity reported that they had been attacked by the Skuther without a formal declaration of war, nobody paid them any mind. When the outer worlds of humanity fell, still none of their allies had come to their aid. If we had known what we know now, we would have gladly aided them. Let me explain. The Skuther are a warrior people. They breed faster than rabbits, and they respect only that which is for war. The United Alliance of Solar States, of which humanity was a part, was called the Weak Together Less Weak by the Skuther. Together, the 400 species promised to aid each other in any war. Together, all 422 species of the United Alliance failed to aid humanity when the Skuther attacked them. The war would be too costly, politicians said. In reality, we all knew. We weren't sure if all of us together could defeat the Skuther. They were too strong, and they reproduced too fast. Humanity, despite having shown themselves to be inventive and somewhat of a cultural oddity, were simply not worth it. Humanity's worlds fell, one after one, and soon they stood fighting on their 400 core worlds, the Circe and Kepri series, well known for their industrial prowess. The humans, at this point, withdrew from all space, every human traveling back to one of their own worlds to fight in the war. Their cradle world had not been found, but we all realized it was only a matter of time. Or so we thought. The Skuther invasion had slowed down to a crawl, partially because the humans could handle much colder weather than the Skuthers and defeated army after army sent into the cold mountains of the Scotty worlds. Eventually, even the Scotty worlds fell, but the humans proved so apt at urban and Arctic warfare that the surfaces of their outer worlds were covered in Skuther corpses. The mounting losses combined with the fact that no resources were ever recovered from the worlds they had taken. Only 7 of the 90 worlds taken from humanity had actually been taken intact. The other 83 worlds had been blown up from the inside or turned into a radioactive hell. The estimated effectiveness of the Skuther army had dropped from 1 human per 1.17 Skuther killed to 1 human per 40 Skuther killed in just 7 months. The Skuther population may have been large, but it was only 12 times the size of the human population. We came to a realization as the Skuther descended on the core worlds of humanity with their battered fleet. The humans were draining them dry. They were beating the attrition species in their own field. The Skuther were masters of attrition because they sent every single one of their kind to war. Humans did the same, but they coolly and calmly calculated the rewards for each engagement and only battled when they knew they would achieve a sufficient kill ratio, regardless of how many they lost. With 1/3 of the Skuther dead, the war finally started turning. At this point in time, the worlds of the Skuther stood almost empty, little food getting to the front line, and few to build their ships. They were now standing still on all fronts, losing ground on some. Humanity, on the other hand, was fielding increasingly fantastic machinery, up to and including a newly invented AI. Genghis Khan, they called it. It commanded large sections of their armies to just as, if not more astounding victories than the human generals. By the end of the 14th month of war, the Skuther lost their first world, outer world. On the 9th day of the 15th month, their first core worlds fell. The end of the 15th month heralded a historic moment, the first time a species landed on another species' cradle world. As the humans entered the palace of the warriors on Scythuia with their armored vehicles, the Skuther surrendered. They hailed the humans as their new gods of war. Biological perfection warrior gods, they called them. Mortal but gods became the official species name for humans amongst the Skuther. 7 days after the war ended, a human ambassador was sent back to the United Alliance. By now, news on the war were greatly sought after by the entire UA, and the ambassador agreed to an appearance in one of the most famous talk shows, hosted by the jihadi model Nuhia. After an astounding recovery, you managed to completely subdue the Skuther. There are reports that they worship you on Scythuia as the gods of war, the gist host said with an excited wave of her antenna. However, there is one question I'm sure is on the lips of all the galaxy. What would you do now? The human gave a bitter laugh. Now we go home. And that, son, is why you will never see a human. They returned to their cradle world, and we have not seen hide nor hair of them since. With them, they took the miraculous technology they invented, the amazing music pieces they crafted, and the odd food they cooked. So when the Skuther turned their attention to the ones they claimed had wronged their gods, there was no one who could save us. They claimed that we had failed to prove our strength to the gods, failed to prove that we were worthy. And that, son, is why you will never be born into this world. Author's name and the link to original text in the description. Consider tapping the thumbs up and pressing the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. And please join our channel. Thanks for watching.